Alright, you guys, the skills to do anything comes through experience, especially if you want to do it right. In order to get experience, sometimes you have to screw things up big time. That's the kind of phase I'm in right now. As a matter of fact, I don't think that'll ever change, because what I'm doing is a little bit different than anything on YouTube. I even tried to research, copper and cast iron. There was only one video, some guy throwing some copper in a cast iron pan. It seemed fine. It was much thicker. These plates are, if you can see how thin that is, it's a little bit thinner than my battery plates. That's actually 5/32 or 3/16 shy. Anyway, this video is actually for people that are considering doing something like this. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your time watching it. I just wanted to go through a few things that has happened, some expenses that came up that I wasn't aware of, okay? But in any case, I did crack the plate, and how that happened was I kind of walked into that one. Because again, this crucible, there's no real rating on how much time you have on it or how many pours. In the comments, I heard they deteriorate really fast. One guy said, oh, 5 pours. Well, what actually constitutes a pour? You know, when you heat it up, pour something, that's obviously 1 pour, but what if you throw it right back in the furnace, put more metal in it, and, pour it again? Is that 2 pours? Because you could simply heat up your first pour and not pour it right away, leave it in there for an hour, then pour it. Would that be 2 hours or 2 pours? Well, I didn't really know. You won't know unless you actually experience it. So what I try to do is break it down into a time. So I had to go look at my old video, figure out how much time I had in with this crucible being heated up. And what happened was, the thing was getting thin. I noticed that, and I was like, and with it being thinner, it heated up the copper a little quicker. I wasn't expecting that. So what I did was, I had a really short time to heat up the plate. And I heated up the plate to about 325 degrees. And I figured, you know what, it'll be good enough. Usually I heat it up to 600. I don't know how much this cast iron plate would handle. And I poured it in there. And sure enough, I heard ping. And anyone that knows, if you're working with cast iron, you hear that noise, it's like a noise from straight out of hell. Because everything you've done is just ruined. You have to redo it. Anyway, I did order another heating plate, or cast iron plate. I actually ordered 2 of them because I don't know how long this is going to take. And I wanted to cover some expenses. This crucible, okay, I got 10 plates out of the one crucible before it starts deteriorating. These things are 30 bucks. Okay, so that's $3 a plate. All right, the material would cost you about $4 a pound for scrap copper. I mean, that's what a scrapyard said they'd sell it to me for, unless you can get it free, scavenging it somewhere. I mean, that's always great. But each plate is about 2 pounds, so that's $8 plus the 3. You're up to $11 a plate. I went on eBay to see if how much it would be if I ordered them, and the best deal for 6x6 by 1/8 inch. It's a little thinner, but it's still $22 if you buy more than 3. Now you could use these thin ones. They're not going to last as long, of course, but they would last pretty long. You'd skip all this process except for the zinc, of course, and this would cost you about $3.75 per plate. There's 15 copper plates in a battery, and there's 12 zinc ones. So either way, it's going to really add up. And so I'm starting to wonder, man, I hope this works, because if it doesn't, this is really going to be a waste. As far as the copper plates and the zinc plates, I still can recover some money. As far as these heaters go, the gas one was about 206 with shipping. The electric one was about 190 with shipping. Reason why I went with electric on this, it's smaller, easier to handle. Messing with something 2,000 degrees is kind of dangerous. So I wasn't really too comfortable with using the gas. Plus the gas takes, over an hour. I couldn't even melt this stuff. This stuff melts it pretty good. And again, it's for electric, it's just much cheaper. If it takes, this thing's 1800 watts or kilowatts would be, for one pour would probably be, let's just say 2 kilowatts per hour. That's if you could pour one in an hour. Okay, that comes, 1 kilowatt is 17 cents. So even if I'm going for 4 hours or whatever, I'm still under $1. So that's a pretty decent way to go, pouring something like that in bulk. Of course, I go with something like this, especially for the zinc. If you have a lot of this stuff, like the heaters, whatnot, already, that'd save you a lot of money. But the question is, again, I don't know how well this is going to work. It's not going to be as good as lead acid. It's half the voltage. I guess I wouldn't even do it until you find out the results of what happens with mine. I wanted to have it done within a week, but now this happens, so I'm waiting on, my cast iron to come in, and then of course I got to try and duplicate this as close as I can so everything fits in there nice. And making this would be, to copy it, be really simple. Drill in holes, cut the plate in half. The hardest part is actually putting this little notch in here. Okay, because that fits right here on the bottom. And when you're pouring, you don't want it to leak, of course. So that's going to be kind of tricky, but I'll take my time. I did it once, I'll do it again. Another thing is, I definitely use one of these. Make sure you're at, I would stay around 700 degrees, and that's what I'm going to do next time I pour, because I don't want to crack another plate. That's really time consuming. Big setback. I was, how you start thinking crazy things. I'm thinking, because it's messing up the surface. It's starting to stick a little, especially up on top here. So I'm thinking maybe cooking oil, some Pam. Then again, for 2,000 degrees, I don't think Pam's going to do any good. It's just going to dissolve, burn away, maybe even start on fire. I can't blame the plate for being cheap. Nobody uses it for this. Nobody cooks eggs at 2,000 degrees. So this is well past what it was designed for. I wish it was a little thicker. Wish I would have known that in the beginning. I don't think anybody uses cast iron for this kind of stuff. My choice, if I were to have a mill, I would have went with big steel plates. Just milled out the center, put them together. It would have been perfect. Nice and thick. Wouldn't have a problem with warping or cracking. But so now I have to contend with this. My plan is to have a 24 volt battery in the end, because that's what my setup is for. My batteries are like my bank now, it's half dead with the Trojans and everything. And if I were to make a 24 volt bank, I need 120 copper plates. That's a lot of crucibles. And as thin as they get so soon, I need 12 of them. If I were to just get 10 plates, and they're $30, $360 as kind of just in crucibles. They should make them, I wish they made them a little better, last longer, but it is what it is. They say oxygen destroys them. What are you going to do? You got to open the thing to add metal in it. As far as the zinc plates, I'd need 96 of them. I think I got, let's see, 44, I probably got about 60 of them total, zinc plates, so I'm almost done with the zinc. I actually wanted to get the zinc out of the way before the copper, in case something like this happened, where I cracked the plate, and it did. So all that sucks. This is just something to consider. If you decide you're going to make something, if you have a lot of money, this is not going to be a big deal, because you could just buy everything. Okay, I don't have a lot of money, so I got to kind of do it as cheap as I can, and sometimes it turns out a little more expensive. With all my testing, I can't really put a price on everything, but just with the copper, these batteries are going to be super expensive. And again, we'll see how they perform. I'm not sure it's going to be worth doing. We'll find out though, because I will get this done eventually. I just need. Let's see. I got a total of 10. I need 30. I need 20 more copper plates. So that's 2 more crucibles. I got 2 on the way. So I should be able to get this done. Well, now it's probably going to be 2 weeks. Anyway, until then.